This is Tony Poulos reporting from the Mobile Marketing Association event in Singapore. I have with me today an old friend, Barney Loehnis, who is the digital lead Asia Pacific for OgilvyOne Worldwide, and he's also the MMA chairman for Asia. Barney, welcome. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
What's happened in the last 12 months? What's changed in the mobile marketing space in Asia?
A lot. I think it was this time last year that iAd was launched, actually. So a lot has been going on. I think the most exciting thing for mobile at the moment is that it's beginning to get more and more of a strategic medium. I think brands, agencies, the whole opportunity for mobile is to sort of come full center stage of communications. I've got a couple of examples I think I can talk about. I think the first is of a pizza. For a pizza company in Thailand, we've just launched an application which enables people to order pizzas off their iPhone. Now, I think this is a strategic opportunity for them because as people get used to ordering pizzas off their app, the next iteration of that, the app will enable the pizza company to backwardly integrate into their CRM system in store. That will enable the pizza company to better know what pizzas people regularly order. It will enable them to know how frequently they order those pizzas and then deliver a kind of sort of really timely, really relevant promotional offers straight to their phone.
So has the take-up of applications on mobile phones had a big impact on the way we're handling mobile marketing these days?
Yeah, I mean, arguably, it sort of slightly unbalanced people's focus. I think an app is a very tangible output. It's not a huge amount of investment for brands to make, and there's some immediate gratification for consumers. I think the big question for anyone producing an app is, what the hell happens next? Like, what next? What next? And I think, there's a constant need to really have a think about that consumer experience and say, is the app that you've developed really good enough to make someone want to come back time and time again? So a lot of marketers are focusing on apps, and I think that's a good thing. I think it's just one element of a much bigger opportunity for brands.
Are we starting to see a service element becoming embedded in the applications? Are we moving the CRM function down to the handset as well?
Definitely. I mean, I think everything about good marketing is about insights into consumers. And, there's no better medium than mobile to really get to grips with that consumer experience of a brand. So if you map out the consumer journey about what people are doing on a day-to-day basis and what they might need from a brand, from a service or customer service point of view, the mobile can play so many roles in delivering timely messages directly to its consumer, relevant messages to remind people to transfer money or to tell people when their deliveries are going to be made. And as you map out that consumer journey and see what those needs of the consumers could be, mobile can play so many roles in a customer service or a consumer journey.
I'm presuming with things like location, we're starting to use that same device as a service delivery platform as well, not just delivering of service, but also knowing where to deliver a particular service.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the targeting, the most exciting thing is about the ability to target relevant messages. And as a consumer, the more relevant those messages are, actually the more seamless that piece of communication appears. It doesn't really appear like an advertisement. It sort of appears as if it's a sort of relevant piece of information that you don't resent. So you can track that through Google online and see how the increased relevancy of their searches when they relate back to an individual makes the return searches even more relevant, and with their inclusion into sort of social elements within the return searches, again you can see what your friends have been searching for, or you can see what your friends rate. If you're looking up hotels or restaurants, you can see that. So I think, relevancy to an individual, relevancy to a location are things that are massively useful from a consumer point of view.
Who is doing the customer profiling? Is it the producers of the service themselves? Is it the companies like the pizza company? Or is it the mobile company, the mobile operators, or even the marketing associations? Who is actually doing the profiling for these things?
I think it's a good question. I mean, I'd slightly flip it. I think in an ideal world, it's the consumer. And brands just give consumers up the option with permission can we track your preferences, and then with your permission, can we feed back the most relevant answers? So can we use data to deliver you a better quality of service and more relevant information? Now, that's with permission. So I think it's, ultimately, if the consumer could give their permission to say, I'm going to give you permission to monitor my data, and then I'll be the judge of how good you are at feeding back that to me, is, the ideal situation. Otherwise, I mean, the answer is that, I think the industry plays a little bit cat and mouse. The MMA makes very clear guidelines. It works with governments to make sure that we're by and large a self-regulating industry, which I think is the ideal scenario. And I think that's a good starting point.
Barney, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks very much for spending some time with me.
Thank you very much, Tony.